Hello and welcome to our presentation on job mapping and product prototyping. My group consisted of myself, Jared O'Hagan, and Michelle Samples. So in today's presentation, we will be going through an overview of the problem, the job mapping steps of that problem, the outcome statements that were derived from the job mapping, the outcome opportunities that were derived from the outcome statements, different product concepts, different prototypes that were derived, how we pitted those in our Pew matrix, and the voice of the customer that drove us to the winning concept. As an overview, we are a startup team that strongly believes in creating circular economy products and would also like to address some of the local community needs. One need that has been identified is to find an alternative to the standard Victor mousetrap, the most common in the industry, to trap a pesky house mouse. This product is not meeting the consumer's needs and satisfaction is lacking. For this project, we will investigate further the job of removing a mouse from a home. We want to explore new concepts using the voice of the customer and understanding the job of mouse removal to find a winning idea. We know we will have competition in the future, but want to be the first to enter the market and brand our product and service. The first step in our job map is to set up the mouse trap. And our outcome statements from the setup phase, we want to minimize the setup time, simplify the setup, and reduce personal injury opportunities from setting up of the mousetrap. Step 2 is to add bait to the mousetrap. We want to make the trap attractive to the mouse and maximize the attraction with the bait. Step 3 is to place the mousetrap in a location. We want to place the mousetrap in an effective location and ensure the location is safe for kids and pets that might be in the house or immediate area. Step 4 of our job map is to remove the mousetrap once it has been triggered. So we want to minimize direct contact with the rodent. We want to signal to alert that the trap is full or has been triggered, and possibly want a service to remove the trap as an outcome. The next step is to dispose of the mouse. So we want to minimize handling of the dead mouse or dead rodent or live mouse or live rodent. We want an easy and hassle-free disposal, and we want to minimize mess. Step 6 is an optional step. It's the outcome statements, if needed for resetting the mousetrap, are to clean and replace the reusable trap or to set up a new mousetrap. So of our outcome statements from our job mapping, we found that the outcome statements that drive innovation, that are really going to add value to this process, are to minimize the setup steps and the difficulty, to minimize the contact with the mouse, and to increase safety for pets and children in the location. The outcome opportunities consist of both business and community. We'll touch on the business first. We found that there is an opportunity to develop a quick, easy to set and place rodent trap to eliminate the hassle and possibility of injury. With the Victor mouse traps, there's always a possibility of injury while setting it, as they are so sensitive and the wire can snap. There's also an opportunity to develop a service to dispose of the rodents as a new revenue stream for both disposal and possibly use in another cycle. From a community perspective, we want to provide a humane method to dispose of rodents and to eliminate the spread of germs, disease, and nuisance. We would like to provide a mousetrap that is reusable, cleanable, and reduces dependence on consumables, so no bait would be involved. Being managed by an external source, so contact with the mouse can be avoided. So a few of the product concepts that we came up with are a glue trap, which is easy to set up. It's a single-use disposal, so no cleaning. 2, the second one is a poison bait trap, which is easy to set up and remove. 3, a no-kill sonic trap, which would catch and possibly lead to live disposal, reusable. The product is reusable, and there are no consumables involved in that. The sonic emission is what attracts the mouse to the trap. There's the opportunity to develop a more efficient snap kill trap with increased force to ensure a quick death, being preset to avoid setup. So you can set it in place and pull a pin to trigger the trap. We came up with a couple prototypes of a few of them. First being the glue trap. It's, as you can see here, it'd be a fast setup. You just have to peel off the top layer to activate the glue. You would set it down and add the bait to the center of the trap. and is easy to bait, as in you can put whatever food you choose on there, whether it be peanut butter, cheese, or cat food, to attract the rodent. So the user chooses the bait. It's a single-use disposal in the landfill, so once the mouse is caught on the trap, you can pick up the trap, enclose the mouse, or wrap the trap around the mouse and throw it in the landfill-bound waste stream. The negatives are that it is not a humane death, and that the mouse or rodent would have a slow death as they are stuck on the mouse trap. There's rodent exposure while dying, so kids and pets could come across the rodent while it's still alive and still glued to the trap, which would be not a great thing. And there's always the possibility of contamination with an open glue trap. We also came up with a poison bait trap design, so it would be fast and easy setup, as you would just have to place it where you thought you would need, where the mouse or rodent would be. You could use peel-away door covers, so the user chooses up to 4 points of entry into the cube. The poison bait comes preloaded in the cube, so once you remove the adhesive doors, that provides exposure to the poison bait. It can kill more than one rodent before effectivity is diminished. The negatives are that there will be an unknown location of the dead rodent, as once it eats the poison, it may leave the enclosure. And also that poison bait is used. Our next prototype is a no-kill sonic trap. The positive being that it's fast and easy to set up, so it's just a matter of plugging it in and turning it on, and setting it in your possible location. It is also can be charged to be cordless, so you can charge it and then unplug it and put it in a location. It's reusable. It does not kill the rodent. The rodent is not left exposed as it falls into a trap, into a chamber below the enclosure. There's no poison involved. The negatives are it requires live disposal, so you will have to do something with the live rodent. It's increased initial cost in that the design has electronics, a microphone, and sonic frequencies used. And it needs to be charged or plugged in. So putting these design concepts into our Pew matrix with some of the established criteria that we derived from our job mapping outcome statements, we found that the no-kill sonic trap ranked number 1 with a total score of 5, and the lowest ranking being the poison bait trap with a score of -5, so it didn't touch on any of those bases. We used the Victor mousetrap as our baseline. We came up with a set of 12 questions and did voice of customer interviews with 7 different individuals to get a sampling of how people felt about mouse traps and rodent traps and whether or not alternatives would be viable for them. And our main takeaways from our VOC efforts were that reducing difficulty and the time associated with setting, baiting, and placing rodent traps would add value to a new product. A service to place the traps and to remove the trapped rodent would be considered, with the elimination of poisons and increase in ease of coordination. An alternative to the traditional Victor mousetrap style of trap would be welcome to minimize difficulty, baiting, and disposal. The majority voice calls for a no-kill trap, but sees value in using the rodent for feedstock for reptiles and other predatory animals. And 100% of the customers would like to avoid the exposure of any poisons or contaminants to their pets or small children. From the voice of customer and the Pew matrix, the winning concept would be the no-kill sonic trap, in that it's easy and rapid to set, no bait or consumables needed, it's poison-free, it does not kill the rodent in the house where it's being trapped, so there's humane trapping. It's minimized handling during disposal. So an added benefit to the live trapping of the mouse or rodent would be that there is the opportunity for a live disposal element to the winning concept. So the positive reaction to using rodents as feedstock for reptiles and other carnivorous animals drove to the value stream identification of there being a possibility to use these as feedstock for pet shops and zoos. So it could either be immediate use or opportunities to flash freeze for later use. The additional revenue stream to provide upsell of live disposal service. Rodents would be removed, immediate return of a sanitized trap by the mobile removal service, and a network of collection through extermination service partners and pet store delivery services. The trap can be used as catch and relief if there is no desire to add disposal service. So just to show you how this fits into sort of a circular economy, the rodent trap is purchased and delivered to your home as it enters there in the top left. It enters into the cycle in that the rodent trap is plugged in and set in a suggested location contained in the instructions. The rodent trap is turned on and begins emitting a frequency to attract the rodent. The rodent is then trapped. When the rodent is trapped, a signal is transmitted to a service that texts the owner of the trap to coordinate pickup. The rodent is then collected. The trap is sanitized by the mobile collection and returned to the owner immediately after the mouse is taken out and put into the mobile collection spot. And then this is where it branches off a little, where the rodent is routed based on size, type, and demand to a local partner, whether it be the zoo and to their reptile feedstock, or to a pet shop to use either for their animals that are live in the pet shop or as a service that they will provide to their customers of reptiles in flash freezing the mice to sell to them later, or selling them live. It continues on its cycle as the rodent trap is reused to collect additional rodents when needed by the owner, or just stored for future use if it is not immediately needed, so the owner doesn't have to purchase another one in the future. The key takeaways is that the customer preference is little to no setup allowable. No poison should be used. They prefer not to see the outcome. They prefer not to handle the disposal, and they prefer an alternative to the traditional snap trap. We feel that there is a market for the no-kill sonic mousetrap, and that it will help consumers feel like they are doing the right thing by providing options for the rodent once it has been trapped. It will no longer be within their house or in their location or in their property, but it will be used to either continue on a cycle of life in being feedstock for a predatory animal or a reptile, or it can be released out into the wild in a different location that it can thrive outside of the home situation. Maybe the local woods. Thank you for watching our video. Have a great day.